Rwanda is not Hotel Rwanda. We will not be defined by the genocide. Rwanda is the land of pride, the home to dreamers, believers, and achievers, learners and teachers, humans and creatures, the heart-beating life of Africa, the world's example and definition of hope, resilience, and ambition. If you haven't yet heard, yo, I hope you listened, because Rwanda is a lesson.
Talented, courageous, humorous, and intelligent. Those are some of the qualities she exudes. Who is she?
My name is Angel Uwamahoro, and I am 24 years old. I am a student at Fordham University in New York, and I am a theater performer as well.
This young girl is mainly known for her poetry, but when did she start reciting poems?
I started writing poetry in 2003, around 2003 and 2002, I'd say. But I officially started reciting my poems at Spoken Word Rwanda in 2011.
Angel's poetry skills have roots in her family.
I grew up in a family of artists. My grandma was a tailor. My mom is an interior designer. And my uncles are dancers and visual artists, and then my aunts are also performing artists. So when I was growing up, I was surrounded by so much art. So I guess that's where I got it from.
Angel says that her poetry starts with an idea, and she writes it in an entertaining way that the young people can understand.
It normally starts with a feeling or an idea. You know, when I see something that is not properly explained, you know, or I want to find a way to explain something to people in an entertaining manner. So even if I'm talking about the history of Rwanda, I don't want to talk about it like a history teacher who, you know, knows all the facts. But what I want to do is I want to tell you the story of Rwanda, the history of Rwanda, but in an entertaining way, in a way that young people can understand and old people can also relate to. So it needs to be relatable to the old and to the young. Yeah, but it always starts with an idea or with a feeling. If I feel something, I'm like, I really have to talk about this. I look for a way to do that.
Angel Uwamahoro, the girl who lived on stage, as she refers to herself, can only use 1 hour to have a full poem.
Normally, if I'm really inspired or already know so much about the topic that I don't have to do research, even in an hour I can be done with a poem. If I want to write and finish a poem that needs a lot of facts and all that, it would probably take me a day. To memorize it will take me a little longer. It will, because especially if I want to memorize it perfectly, it can take from 2 to 3 days, but perfectly, if I have a week, I'm so happy. Yeah.
For Angel, every poem has its own inspiration.
Every poem has its own motivation. You know, if it's Rwanda is not Hotel Rwanda, that's a poem I wrote. That poem, the motivation behind that poem is to tell a Rwandan story in a different lens from what was told by Hollywood. You know, because every time I go to the West and I'm like, oh, I'm Angel Uwamahoro and I'm from Rwanda, they're like, oh, Rwanda, you mean like the movie Hotel Rwanda? So I wrote a poem saying, no, Rwanda is not Hotel Rwanda. So that was the motivation for that. Then, for Strength in the Struggle, it was a poem, dedicated to the heroes of Rwanda. So they were my motivation for that poem. So every poem on its own has motivation, but I could say that in general, the Rwandan people inspire me to write my poems, motivate me to write my poems.
Or we could take charge.
And by we mean you and you and you and you and you and you and me.
Take this opportunity we've been given.
And make a living.
Make our dreams come true.
Be a different you.
That Africa can look up to.
That history books never knew.
We can teach the past a lesson.
That in fact,
history does not repeat itself because we won't let it.
Because our people will not kill each other again.
Because that already happened and we won't forget it.
Erega, ijoro ribarwariraye. Walai, we are living proof. Rwandan youth.
Rwanda's history, ubumuntu, unity and reconciliation, and genocide commemoration are some of popular aspects that Angel focuses on in her poetry.
I want to help the country develop. And sometimes I can be around the youth and I find that there's still, some of them still have the old mentality, you know, they're not reconciled with their friends or with their past. And you know, art is a way to help heal people or to help them understand or to bring them forward to what's happening. And I feel like that is my input, you know, for my country. And also, I feel like it's important for me to tell Rwandan stories. Kuki abantu bava hanze bakaza kutuvugira ibintu kandi twebwe abanyarwanda turahari. So I think it's in my place to tell our stories and to tell important stories. Yes, there are other stories to be talked about love and about I don't know, friendships and all these things. I also have those, but I think it's important that we look at the youth, and I can use my platform as an artist to pass these important messages, because if I don't, who will? When I'm writing really from my perspective, from a perspective of a young Rwandan woman who was not able to live in her country during the time of the genocide. From 1990 up to 1997, we were not here. We were in Uganda, and then in Uganda we went to the States. Then we came back to Rwanda when everything is safe. So I have a perspective of a Rwandan who's lived abroad but who's come back to live in Rwanda.
Seeing Angel Uwamahoro on stage, you would think she was taught this from her childhood.
I've never actually studied poetry. I've always, like even now, I'm not really studying poetry. I'm studying theater and performing arts. So I've never studied poetry. But the fact that I'm in the arts, it's helped me to perform it. Yeah, so kubyandika ntabwo nabyize ariko ukuntu babikora kuri scene, yeah, ibyo nibyo ndi kwiga.
She encourages young Rwandans to exploit the potential and talent that they have.
One of the first and most important messages I have for young Rwandan artists is to expose their art. I think one of the mistakes I would have made was to keep my poetry for myself. And that would have been something that I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having this interview today. So yeah, I just think, first of all, expose your arts, you know, whichever opportunities you get.
Oh, Mama. But now, all I have left is this blood-stained cloth. Before your soul left your body, you passed me on to another to survive this cruel, cruel world. Oh, Mama, I will hold it.
For her, it is a big mistake for Rwandan youth to hide or shy away from their different talents. All they have to do is believe in themselves.
Go ahead, you know, expose your art. And then second of all, stay true, you know, be original. I mean that don't be a Rwandan who's trying to be an American. Just be a Rwandan, and there is so much value in that already. So if you can find that value and, you know, show it to people, they will see it too. So yeah, and also follow your dreams, stay true.
Seeing Angel on stage and getting to meet her, she's a different person. We got a chance to ask her what happens when she gets on stage.
Well, you know, when I'm on stage, I'm given a character to act. They don't tell me, Angel, you go on stage and do your story. If I was to go on stage and do my story, I would look the same. But if I'm given to act a character like Rosa or Therese or somebody, I have to transform, I have to become that person. That is my job, to think like them. So it changes you, because you're not you're not you anymore. You're a tool, but you're transforming into somebody else on stage.
She reveals that she feels nervous when she's given a character, but she ends up enjoying the character, though it takes time to adjust to it.
All of them are I get nervous with all of them, because I try to imagine, what if I don't do this character properly, you know? And I think with a lot of the plays that I've done, they're testimonials, so it's actually characters of real people, so that person can come and watch the show. And if that person comes to watch the show and sees that I'm not doing a good job with their character, then I'm in big trouble. So I mean, all of the characters that I have they're always nerve-wracking, but I enjoy them. But the one I can say that I enjoyed the most was when I had to play an 11-year-old child soldier whose name was Josefa. That was the funnest because I got to become a kid again, and to see the world in the eyes of a child again. So transforming to become a kid, that was really awesome. I loved that role. Yeah.
This is Angel Uwamahoro you always see on stage.